I prefer the factory kick panel for several reasons. First, it gives an easy fit and the factory look to the custom panels. Second, it doesn't require that the factory floor mats be customized to fit around the kick panels, and also leaves full legroom for the passengers. When the cutting is complete, you'll have a near-perfect copy of the factory panel to use over and drape the cut cloth over it. Then begin the process of pulling and pressing the fabric to the sticky edge on the back side. The idea is to create a form-fitting exterior with no wrinkles or sags so we can apply a layer of resin to it with a paintbrush to the stretched fabric. Do not apply resin to the back side of the cloth or the spray glue will release and you'll have to re-wrap the piece. Only brush resin up to the edge of the panel. Cover the entire front of the piece with resin, including the area in the middle of the ring. Once the body filler is mixed, it will begin to harden, so you'll need to work quickly. Use the plastic spreader to apply and roughly shape the body filler to the pod. Look for major gaps and areas that need extra attention as you rotate and apply filler to the piece. If you wait too long, the body filler will be very difficult to work with. If you shape it too soon, the form will lose shape and the blade will clog up with filler. Test the high spots with your gloved finger to see if it is stiff enough to work. Again, you'll need to work quickly, so don't spend too much time in one particular area. Once this is cured, we can begin the final sanding process and smooth the pod as much as necessary for our final covering material. The smoother the final surface, the more we'll need to sand it. Carpeted pods will work well with only an 80 grit sanding. Vinyl covered surfaces should be smoothed to a 220 finish. Painted surfaces will need to be. Now we do a final check of the fit in the vehicle. Everything looks good, so we'll call it a success. Now we're ready to turn a regular subwoofer enclosure. Next we mix up some regular body filler and apply it to the top surface of the MDF enclosure. Once all edges have a generous portion of body filler, we can set the form top into it. This will bond the two pieces together. Our final project will be the construction of a spare tire well enclosure. This is a very popular installation technique when trunk space needs to be maximized, or the owner wants an ultra-stealth installation. Here the subwoofer will use the space normally occupied by the spare tire. Now we can prepare our fiberglass mat. I'm using a 3-ounce chop mat that comes in a 4-inch wide roll. Cut several lengths that will cover the width of the well. Cut one set for each layer you plan to add, and also cut some square patches. Once the mat is ready, we can mix up the resin. This is definitely a job you'll need to wear a fume mask for, since the vapors will be Now pre-cut strips of fiberglass to lay over the top of the core mat. This is the same process we used for the first layers of fiberglass. When everything is laid and ready, you can put on your gloves and fume mask and mix up the needed resin. Once both layers are complete, use your fiberglass roller to remove any remaining air bubbles. Place your brush and roller in acetone and let the resin cure. Set the enclosure in the sun if possible to speed the curing time. Now place the inverted enclosure onto a piece of MDF large enough to cover the opening. Trace along the edge with a permanent marker. With the size of this enclosure's lip, it is necessary to trim another inch from this line. Here you can see the gaps that exist between the enclosure form and the flat MDF baffle. We'll cover these with more fiberglass later in the process. Also note the alignment marks that were made to match the enclosure to the baffle. A total of 3 marks were made for matching. Because this edge is curved, it will be very strong, and 3 layers is all we will need. After the final resin application is cured, we can mount our hardware and check the final product. The enclosure fits perfectly into the spare tire well, and disappears once the factory carpet is in place. Don't forget to add a grill to the subwoofer to protect the cone from objects placed in the trunk.